Meanwhile, the man who once controversially said that no one was checking for
I love 90s, but we have to move forward, bro. We can't we can't be like, oh, because this doesn't sound like 90s R&B. I don't want to deal with it. That's not, you can't think like that.
Believe me when I say I'ma pull up when the stage drops. Believe me when I say she don't look good.
Yo, what it is? TDC, it's your boy Srotonn here, but you can call me Tone. I listen. Finna watch Male R&B is officially dead. Now, I will say one conversation I don't like to hear because I think it's super corny, and it's usually older people who be saying this. They're like, "Oh man, because it's just nothing but hookup culture now," and that's not the truth. Like, come on, man, 90s music, 90s rap. Y'all had 90s R&B saving y'all, but if there was no 90s R&B, bro, it would just be hookup culture and calling women bitches and hoes and type of shit. Come on. Like, so just stop with that. That's not true.
It's really no more artistry left in that type of showmanship lane. You know, a lot of the R&B people have to go introvert.
And I've heard Chris Brown say this, and I mean, maybe this is a good point.
Or look like they're emo to
yeah.
This is what we have to do. Like, but I feel like there's a scarcity of confident males that can sing.
At the dawning of popular music, what was then known as rhythm and blues dominated the airwaves, a sound of revolution in both this.
And also, I think that it's just the last couple years, rap and hip hop has just been going crazy. It's been taking that main stage. Now, I think it is falling off. 100%, I think it's falling off. I would say female, women's R&B, women's hip hop, women's rap is definitely going up. But I think male hip hop is going down, and it's going to take somebody. And I don't know if I can't say that I'm going to take a crack at it, but I mean, why not at this point? But it's going to take somebody to bring that kind of R&B back. You know, that I love women R&B back, because you can tell just by talking to women that they miss that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hip hop had its run, rap had its run, but shit. Now, you know, women kind of want that answer back. So
lyrics, musicality, and ability to transcend racial boundaries, R&B quickly rose to popularity in the 40s.
R&B was, for sure.
Over time, the genre progressed from the Motown sound of the 70s to the flashiness of the 90s and slow-burning sensitivity of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Not to mention that in the 80s, Michael Jackson merged the sounds of pop and R&B
together,
in a way that made them barely distinguishable from the other. Nowadays, rappers sing and singers rap. But when you start to take a closer look at modern R&B, you can notice an alarming trend.
It's very, I would say the modern R&B for sure is what I would like to call alternative R&B. It's very, like he said, like he got up on the screen, it's scissor based. It's very, you know, calming, Janae Aiko-ish, her-ish. It's not very, it's definitely dominated by women, 100%.
While women like SZA, Doja Cat, and Summer Walker, to Georgia Smith and Kalani, are so highly respected to the point that they're practically worshipped, the same can't be said for their male peers. And now we're reaching a point where there is an entire generation.
And while Usher is still able to do it, like, this nigga is doing a residency, bro. He's not gonna be out here like he was when he was 16, 20, 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't be looking to Usher for Usher to carry R&B, bro. Like, we shouldn't be looking for that. And I guess, what's Gang? He just came back out. The Harmonic Anniversary. That nigga, can't think his name, but him. He just came back out.
Singers who haven't been able to reach the same level of fame and respect as someone like Usher, who is still.
And I'm sure it's underground artists that's working for sure. And I mean, you can count Vito if you want to. But I don't know.
Labeled the king of R&B.
Hey man, you call me that, I'll definitely carry it. And I'm gonna tilt my crown knowing that I'm standing on the shoulders of all of the icons of our time. It is Michael that I stand on the shoulders of. You wanna give me that crown? You tell me who gonna do it better. I'm carrying them. So if anything, you wanna give me a crown, I'm the last of my kind. I've been working to the point where I do own that. And I do deserve that. And I ain't gonna ask for it no more. You gonna give it.
This is real? Okay. I should talk your shit.
Although he once seemed like a worthy replacement, Chris Brown's fan base has been divided ever since the Rihanna incident, complete with slick dance moves and vocals that were
Yeah, Chris Brown was on his way to, and I'm a big Chris Brown fan, y'all. I am. Chris Brown was on his way to stardom, but the nigga has anger issues. He does. He's doesn't seem to be a great person, to be honest. So when you put that together with like all allegations, true or not, just the allegations alone, bro, it's just like you just had no chance.
Were made for major radio, Breezy was cut from the same cloth as Michael Jackson. But as the shape of R&B changed, Chris has struggled to adapt, and now he's lashing out. When's the last time you heard a slow song on the radio? Saying R&B is dead. Yeah. Respectfully, shut the fuck up. People nowadays
he say shut the fuck up.
They want fast food instead of a real meal. Willing to point the finger at everyone but himself, the changing sound for R&B has led to a lot of frustration for an artist who always immediately went platinum. And when his 11th studio album Breezy reached an all-career low of number 4 on the charts, selling 72K first week, it was DJ Academics that really put things into perspective about the state of Chris's career.
Chris Brown should have been the Weeknd before the Weeknd. And I get it.
What does that? What the fuck? I hate this nigga so much. By the way, what does that even fucking mean? Like, what does that even mean? Is he saying like the pop?
A little bit because of whatever Rihanna, but god damn it, Chris Brown, we don't want to hear you over ATL Jacob, Metro Boomin. Those are songs for the moment. You're a icon. We want you to just give us classics we could dance to forever. And when I hear you on a song with ESTG, there's nobody in their mind that will play that song a year from now. That's what I'm trying to tell us, brother.
Probably, but again, like I think it's more of a thing of, and I'm not sure why this is leading to Chris Brown, but I think it's more of a thing of he's had so many hits, and this is me saying this growing up listening to this nigga music. So I know 100% it's him being more consistent more than giving us new hits. I'm not saying it can't happen in the future, but I mean, Chris is he's not almost 40. I think he's like 34 or some shit like that.
Brother, you're the guy, but you got to embrace what
he's still the guy, but like he's
lifetime music.
In T-Pain's opinion, Chris's tantrum is part of a larger problem that has affected his career, mainly being that he has a sense of entitlement to him that really comes from everyone expecting him to be the next king of R&B for so long.
Now, Chris Brown is my mother, but I know what his faults are.
All right, so I want to talk to you about Atlas.
Facts. Like you can see it, like he's supposed to be the biggest star ever, but like I said, you can obviously see where his faults are. Shout out to Atlas VPN though, man. Ooh, Lord. All right, let's go
to the video.
The Princess Complex is when you not only get what you want, but you get the accolades of a pretty person for doing absolutely nothing and just being pretty. The second that the first real mother comes to you and say, hey, you ain't that pretty, it's over. So now it's like, y'all must have done something wrong because I've done the same thing that I've done every time that it's gone great. So now y'all must have done something wrong because it ain't me. I'm Chris Brown.
That's crazy. I've never heard T-Pain say this.
Tail end of
this is real audio?
Last year, his scheduled performances at the AMAs was cut.
Okay, this is about to be about video. This is almost halfway, and this is just stuck on Chris Brown. This is a video on Chris Brown.
Last minute due to advertiser concerns about his past. And even though they claimed it was nothing personal, in true Chris form, he took it to heart. Seems like y'all.
Which I would have too. I ain't gonna lie, that performance would have been amazing. But I get it. At the end of the day, bro, I get it. I get it. When you have somebody with Chris's background, his history, what's easier for you? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what's going to happen. If he might get into it with somebody at the damn show, if he might. And as I say, I'm a big Chris Brown fan, but you got to look at the facts sometimes, bro. You really, really do. I want more for Chris Brown, but you know, so sometimes I feel like he gotta want more for himself, bro. Like I said, I get it as well because people will try you and then make it seem like, oh, this man going crazy. But being Chris Brown, you have to have that mental state where you know, hey, this person is intentionally trying to get a rise out of me and get the response they want so I can look crazy in the morning. And you just can't give him that. And that he gives it to him almost every time.
Y'all only invested in negative stories about me. Chris gets in trouble, the whole world is on it. I'm back on my gangster. It's bracking at all times. While Breezy,
go on, Chris, bro. Come on, bro.
He arguably ruined his own career. Another talented artist who failed through his own personal misadventures is Tory Lanez, a versatile artist who could easily leap between R&B and hip-hop. Tory's Chicks tapes.
Another nigga, he could have. Women love the Chicks tapes. I haven't listened to all the Chicks tapes. People love this nigga still today. That his actions. These niggas for B-boy, it don't be all the way there sometimes when it come to this anger shit, bro. And he done fucked this shit up.
Series and other projects like Playboy marked him out as the leading light for those who wanted to hear R&B in its traditional form. For a while, it really felt like Tory was giving fans the R&B they craved. But after everything that happened with the Megan Thee Stallion shooting case, audiences' love for Lanez immediately disappeared. And now, he's facing major prison time. But even if it isn't due to a personal failing like with Chris or Tory, there's been another reoccurring trend of talented up-and-coming R&B.
And I know some people consider Frank Ocean to be R&B, and he can. Some songs do. I personally don't. Well, no, let me stop saying that. I'm more of I call him alternative R&B. For sure.
Artists failing to live up to their potential.
So I guess still R&B.
Emerging from the same creative fertile scene that gave us Odd Future's Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt,
for whatever reason.
Frank's entire career has been an exercise in subverting everything that you need to do to become a superstar in normal terms. Defined as an album artist who creates incredible conceptual suites for audiences to delve into time and time again, Frank's records may have topped the charts, but he's never so much as guested on a feature that's entered the top 10. A man who values his art and privacy over courting the mega stardom that those who came before him enjoyed, Frank hasn't even unveiled an album since 2016's Blonde. More of an illusion.
Since 2016. That's crazy. I didn't know it was been that long, nigga. It's been almost 10 years.
Creative force like Prince than he ever was a disciple of Michael Jackson. Frank creates in a vacuum that's far removed from R&B stardom. Besides, the major label machine would never, ever get behind him, ever since he famously finessed Def Jam and Universal out of $20 million.
I did hear
about this. He had a deal, and he didn't put out an album in 4 years. And with his deal, he literally figured out how to get $20 million from Lucien Grange, drop his deal, figure out how to make the funds apply to a whole nother album, give him a book album, get out his deal all in one round. Damn. Do you know how embarrassed the record industry was?
Where Frank has chosen to play by his own rules, there are other artists who
Hey, at the end of the day, man, I know it might not be great to say to finesse people, but because they're going to do it to hit. They're going to do it to y'all. So, hey, shout out to him.
To play the game,
for real.
Only for it to leave them in the dust. Take Bryson Tiller, for example. A man who once had potential to alter the entire genre's DNA with trap soul. Bryson later admitted that
I always want to know what happened to Bryson Tiller because he went on a run and then I feel like he stopped too, right?
He was depressed while making its follow-up, True to Self, and fully admitted to his fans that he lost his confidence. Meanwhile, the man who once controversially said that no one was checking for Bryson anymore, YK Osiris, let his image get ruined through social media antics, which damaged his credibility. Carrying an inflated ego, which had him labeling himself as the king of R&B, even as his debut album, The Golden Child, topped out at number.
Listen, bro, I ain't gonna lie, nobody is crowning this nigga the king of R&B. And if you are, shout out to you. But YK Osiris, to me, he's just a rapper, bro. He's just a nigga that can hold a note. I'm not going to YK Osiris for no fucking R&B music. I'm not. And that's not to say his music is bad, because I do like some of his songs. But I'm not finna be like, oh yeah, it's the new R&B nigga. Like, I'm good.
90 on the billboards, YK's proximity to some of the biggest rappers in the game left him looking like a clown, with the likes of Lil Baby.
And then that nigga was online, like, he was, again, if you be online too much, bro, it's never a good thing. He was online doing all kind of crazy shit.
And Drizzy openly mocking him online.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby, I'm not Boosie. You owe me 60 bands? I'm playing the song right now. You ready? You don't owe me no money. I need a full performance though.
While other artists within the New Jack Swing vein like Keith Sweat, Teddy Riley, and Bobby Brown created music with the charts in mind, one other issue that is plaguing male R&B is that it seems like a lot of its leading lights are more interested in creating their own world than they are aiming to dominate the charts. Case in point, Miguel, who used to command respect and adoration.
And I actually don't even think that's a bad thing. But I mean, it plays more into what Chris was saying. Like, that's just how this new generation of R&B artists, they value their own world rather than trying to, you know, fulfill others, maybe, if that sounds correct. But is that a bad thing? No, because sometimes you got to be true to yourself or you're going to end up going crazy, being depressed or whatever, you know, may follow.
Since the drop of his sophomore album, Kaleidoscope Dreams, has walked a strange path in that he was once at the top and then seemed to willingly step out of the spotlight. Being the subject of memes after he accidentally leg dropped a woman from the stage, Miguel's music has become increasingly unapproachable in a way that suggests he has no intentions of being the marketable star that he was once groomed as. His 2017 album, War and Leisure, only reached number 9 on the Billboard charts, where he was used to being in the top 5 with his previous albums. Now, he hasn't been seen on the charts since 2020. By refusing to make commercial
music, that is true. I don't know where he's at.
A divide was created between what he wanted to make and what his fans wanted to hear, which left him unable to recapture the buzz he first had. In recent
Which happens too, because with everybody, bro, people go through different phases. For example, with Chris, you saw Chris go through, you know, that 2000s R&B vibe, to then he got real deep into EDM, and then now he's into I don't even know, Afro beats, it seems like. So you go with people, even with the Weeknd. Weeknd was like weekend music. Then I think he was into EDM. Then when he was into like 80s pop music. So you go with them as you go, but you grow with them as they grow.
Years, this has been an issue for many prominent R&B artists, from Ty Dolla $ign to Black, Drum, and others.
Dolla $ign is a lot. Boy, I don't know if it's the industry or it's him, but I'm growing with him as he grows. But Dolla $ign is very different now.
Music that they wish to make versus what's capable of driving sales are two totally different things.
100%.
The Weeknd, whose signature sound was pursued by Drake for OVO, has also been deviating from the revolutionary sound that he originally created in 2015. Wildly imitated, but never replicated.
Nice.
It seemed like his moody and melancholy take on the SoundCloud have set the tone for modern R&B. But instead, The Weeknd set his sights on something bigger, conquering pop. Because, you guessed it, he had no intention of giving fans exactly what they expected. Back in 2012, when I was
which is cool. I mean, that show, but it was more, I don't know. To me, The Weeknd has always been pop. That's just my personal opinion. But I can see how other people would consider him, like, especially his early days.
To do that kind of music, people were fed up with it. They were like, this is all he can do? He told Pitchfork. I owe it to myself to show the world how versatile I can be. Because that's not all I can do. Why can't I try something that challenges me as an artist?
Yeah, I feel like people don't want to be an R&B artist no more. That's just not their bag. They want to be a world artist. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be, you know, dare I say, boxed down to the Black community. They don't want to be boxed down. They want to be international, which you're not going to be able to do that if you just only do R&B. You're not. You can look at the people before him. All these 90s R&B artists, if you ask them who Jodeci is, if I go down and ask a random white person, do they know who Jodeci is? Maybe Boyz II Men, H-Town, they don't know who the fuck H-Town is. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. But you ask them who The Weeknd is, you ask them who Michael Jackson is, people who branched out of just R&B. So they just value that more, it seems like.
I didn't have to learn, he said about writing pop songs. It's always been in me. I just had to be confident enough to let it out. Working with producers like Max Martin and Kanye West, I've learned to do certain things technically and make songs in different ways than I usually would, but it's always been in there. I'm a pop artist. You could put me in one category. Existing within his own lane, Brent Faiyaz seems to be winning on his own terms, even while holding no desire to be labeled as the next face of R&B.
Yeah, I agree. I really do like Brent Faiyaz. Now, if is he the traditional R&B? No, but I really do like Brent Faiyaz music.
Even more impressively, his debut album Wasteland landed at number 2 without him sacrificing his independence. And much like many others who briefly saw success before it blew past them, Brent has no need to pander to what audiences expect from an R&B singer.
Yeah. It's funny because today Puffy tweeted out something like "Who killed R&B?" and it always seems like a conversation around challenging the state of R&B. Like, is what going on now meet the standards of the past, of the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that?
I mean, people are so stuck in that classic.
They are. And that's what we're gonna go back and listen to what he said. But I was gonna say that too, like, I love 90s, but we done with the 90s. We have to move forward, bro. We can't be like, oh, because this doesn't sound like 90s R&B. I don't want to deal with it. That's not, you can't think like that. That shit is trash.
Standards of the past, of the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that.
I mean, people are so stuck in that classic. There's people that wouldn't classify me as an R&B artist. There's people that's like, that ain't R&B. That ain't what I know. And if that's the case, then I guess not. I personally don't.
He don't care. They don't care.
Genre. I really don't care. If you think it's R&B music, cool. If you don't think it's R&B music, cool. I just be making music. People love it.
In Brent, and to a lesser extent, Steve Lacy, we see that R&B today has become less of a playground for the romantic playboys of the past and more of a place for experimentalism. Now, the idea of a heartthrob like Usher or Omarion is out of date, and the artistry is everything. So while it might mean that the R&B as we once knew it is quote-unquote dead, there are worse things to have than an overwhelming amount of creativity.
And okay, so good video, start off. But like I said, I think overall what I want, the conclusion I came to is that people value, you know, being outside of just R&B more than anybody. They just want to make the music they want to make. If you classify as this, you classify as that. It is what it is. I think that's just what it comes down to. People just don't give a fuck about being classified as R&B anymore. They don't care because they feel like it puts them in a box, which, okay, it kind of does. But I think that's all I really got to say. Oh, also, while we can make this type of music we want, I do think it is good for somebody to go back to that and love type music. Even if, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's dirty Mac. But that's just how I feel, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Till next time, I'm out.